Good afternoon. Talked on Sunday and on Tuesday about the need or the necessity to start working, start applying what we've been studying for as long as we've been studying it, to begin to go inside and reveal the magic. This morning, I'd like to read from a magazine article that was in this past winter's tricycle. And it's about a guy who spent 25 years in jail. He was sentenced to 30, but he got 5 off for good behavior or an appeal. I'd just like to read some of his words. He says, "After years of training my mind through daily meditation and intensive retreat practice in prison, my experience of this pain and darkness began to shift dramatically. I would find myself in the midst of this intense hopelessness and pain, burning with an agony that was almost blinding, and my awareness or practice would not stay with the direct experience without going into a lot of thoughts about it." So, trying to be mindful in the moment, but losing because of the thoughts in the mind. And we can understand that if we're incarcerated. When this happened, I then experienced that awareness, that awareness as a spaciousness growing around the intense pain. Then the pain would dissolve into space, leaving me in a state of joy, almost a kind of bliss. This was a bizarre and unsettling experience the first time it happened, but with time I came to accept it and appreciate that my meditation practice had given me a way to work with and transform my pain and despair. So I read this because I wanted you to understand the fruits of meditation. That there are many people, by the way, this article is called Free in Captivity, that there are many people who are today not incarcerated in the sense of being in a jail cell or a penitentiary, but they are incarcerated by their unwholesomeness and their defilements and their inability to break free of their perceived understandings of reality and samsara. They just don't understand that they're still looking for a way to manipulate external reality in order to make themselves happy. And this is just, as we know, ignorance. It's nothing to make happen. You don't make this happen. As a matter of fact, if you go in with that kind of desire to make something occur, to make something be, then what happens is you're never going to get there. Because you're creating a situation that is non-conducive to the stillness and the peace that you say you want to access. That stillness and peace is there and is always there. You just have to get through your own funk, your own disturbances, your own created interruptions to your peace. That loss of contentment and peace that meditation promises is there at all times, in spite of what we perceive as going on out here in the world, or even with ourselves internally. So, it's not about trying hard, it's not about making something happen, it's about allowing the conditions to rise up, to manifest, that allow us to enter into this place of this inner chamber of peace and stillness and contentment. So, what we noticed, what I noticed, and Pannadipa was expressing to me the same thing when she did her teaching on Tuesday, was there seemed to be an inability to be still. So there was a lot of restlessness and movement. And of course, if I can't be still externally or in my body, then I can't expect to access stillness, because I'm still in this place of jitteriness and restlessness. And it's like an immaturity. It's like children who can't sit still. We expect that in youngsters, but we don't expect that in adults. But adults are youngsters who have never learned how to be still. So one of the things to work with, if you haven't worked with it already, is just establishing that place of stillness. Certainly there's the point of attachment to the present moment. But if you can't be still, if you can't sit still, if you can't, this has nothing at all yet to do with even the mind being still. This is just the body being still, your external awareness being still. And if that can't be achieved, then that's what you work on. So if you notice that you're fidgety, that you're restless, you want to resolve that first. And in other words, there's these parameters that we set up as we go inside. And of course, the instruction says that we abandon all covetousness, all wanting, all desire, and all grief, all sorrow for the world. Because again, those ideas, those thoughts that we bring in with us disturb us. We never create the space where there's stillness and contentment, because we're carrying all of these things in with us that generate jitteriness, that generate apprehension, that generate anxiety. So it's about letting those aside, and it's about being aware that you are carrying them in, and the best way to be aware that you're carrying them in is to volitionally let them go as you start into your inner work. You might say, I don't have any covetousness and grief for the world. I'm not worried about the world. But make sure you articulate that to yourself. Take the steps. Do one step at a time. It's not about jumping over. When you're a farmer and you're cultivating your land, you've got to plant the seed. Before you plant the seed, you've got to cultivate the soil. You can't jump over things just because you think that they're okay. You take one thing at a time. You plow, you turn, you grow by planting your seed. You nourish by watering. And it's the same thing with this fruit of mindfulness, this fruit of meditation. So, if there are there questions? That's the first thing. Do you know what you are going to do? What is your game plan in order to enter into this place of joy and spaciousness? The first jhana is applied and sustained thought with joy and pleasure born of seclusion. Now, in the Buddha's days, seclusion meant physical seclusion, getting away from everyone else, getting into a place where there weren't people around to disturb us. But like finding a place that nobody owns today, where we can sit under a tree and be there with it, it doesn't exist anymore. We don't have enough space where we can just get away from people, because wherever we go, people are there, including ourselves. So we must learn to be in seclusion by leaving the outside on the outside and not allowing the outside to disturb us, whether it be people moving around us or shifting or birds singing or dogs barking or lawnmowers, lawn mowing. We have to accept all of that as part of reality and not be disturbed by it. So, are there any questions before we go in? Wonderful. So let's sit still for the next half hour or so. Everybody's ready? Comfortable? it's nice to be able to access a space that brings a smile to your face. And there's nothing funny. There's just happiness and joy. So I hope that all of you are able to also enter that space of stillness and joy and pleasure. It's a wonderful place to be because you forget all about the crazies. You're insulated from the crazies. Don't give up. It's everybody's inheritance, this experience of contemplation. It's talked about in all of the spiritual disciplines. It isn't gender specific. It's available to everyone. That peace, that sublime existence inside, that nobody can take away from you because nobody gave it to you. It's just yours. In spite of anything else, in spite of whatever else might be happening, it's there. So, I appreciate your stillness. It was there today. And there's a re-energizing that occurs when you're able to be there, a revitalizing that goes on. There's no depletion, there's nobody or nothing that's sucking anything out of you. It's a refueling point. So I hope that one day everybody will understand and experience what it is that I'm expressing. It's you truly begin to understand what refuge really means, a place to be that's safe, still, and warm, fuzzy. Well, not fuzzy. So, may all beings be liberated. May all beings have the opportunity to experience their inner peace. Thank you so much for being here, for being you, for your support. And continue to have a great day and smile at a stranger. Thank you so much.